Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to make some beef fried rice, and I've already got a couple of tablespoons of oil heating up, waiting for that. While you wait, you need to grab an egg and about a teaspoon of oil. I put in some sesame oil, and you're going to set this aside because you're going to need it in a few minutes. This is just like the chicken and rice I made recently. I'm sorry, chicken fried rice, not chicken and rice, that I made recently, and I decided to take that same recipe and switch it up. Everything's going to be the exact same except for I'm going to put beef in it. So I found some really thin steak. These are sirloin at Walmart. And I took about a pound or a pound and a half. It may have been 2 pounds. I don't remember. And I just cut them. I just rolled them up and cut them like ribbon. And then I chopped them up a little bit more. And I've got to cook this and make sure that it don't clump together. But this is the beef that's going to go in our fried rice. So I'm going to get this cooked, and then we'll remove that and then cook the rest of it that we have to add. We got to do some veggies. The rice is already set aside and cooked. I've already got that ready. But just give me a few minutes to get this done, and we'll move on to the rest of the recipe. Okay, y'all. So I forgot to season this meat. I've already cooked it and drained it. I'm going to season it real quick, and I'm going to remove it from the pan. You need salt and pepper. I'm trying to check, make sure we're good on that. So we are. Just stir this real quick. Okay, now we'll remove it from the heat. So we can do what we got to do next. You don't have to put this much meat in here. About a pound or a pound and a half should do it. I want to say this is a lot more than that. Probably about 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds. It's going to be very meaty. Okay. So medium-high heat. We'll put a little bit of oil in here. Teaspoon or so, give or take. Then we're going to put a cup of frozen mixed vegetables in here. You can put peas and carrots. You can put just green beans, no peas, you know, whatever you want. But we're going to do mixed vegetables. And you know what? There's just like a tablespoon left, so I'm just going to put that in here too. So a little bit over a cup. Not much though. Maybe a heaping cup. Alright. So we're going to take our spoon. We're just going to stir this around a little bit. Now, if you have fresh garlic, at the tail end of this little part of the recipe, you're going to put in your fresh garlic. I still have not bought any fresh garlic because I'm lazy. So we're going to put in some garlic powder. About a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons, something like that. Alright. And then we're just going to season this, stir it up. We'll put it on medium-high heat. Alright, so you're just going to let this cook for just a minute until it's tender. Only a few minutes. And then I'll be right back. Alright, y'all. So while this continues to cook, you're going to push it aside. And you're going to put that egg that I was telling you about in the beginning of the recipe. It's got a little bit of oil in it. And you are going to whisk this. Scramble it. Whisk, scramble. I don't even know what's going on with me today. Gets a little bit of the vegetables in it, it's fine. We are working with a limited area here. And you can always put more than one egg in too if you want. Okay. Alright, so the next step is, and what I feel is the secret to this whole thing, 2 tablespoons of butter. And you're going to want to melt those. And then as soon as that's melted, you can add your meat and rice in. And we're going to add the soy sauce and we're done. Not much at all. Now, instead of soy sauce, you can do liquid aminos or you can do tamari. I'm going to do reduced sodium soy sauce. Okay. So, let me get the rice. You're going to add some rice to this. It's only supposed to be 3 cups of cooked rice, but I always add way more. As you can see, that's way more than 3 cups. Sometimes you can play with the recipe and it's safe for you to add or take away. Okay, then we're going to add our meat back in. And you need 3 to 4 tablespoons of soy sauce, and I got very little left, so I'm going to do 4, and we're going to stir this up and see how it is. See if it's seasoned it good enough, and if not, I'm going to add what's left in the bottle. I'm also going to add just a little bit more sesame oil to help with flavor. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be enough. Alright, we're going to add another 1.5 tablespoons. I didn't know I was out of soy sauce. And we're going to add a little bit of sesame oil to help flavor it. You don't have to do this, but I like to do it. Alright, that's it. Much better. Probably going to put in some salt. Really good cheap meal, and you can make tons of it. So, make sure you keep that in mind when you make it. Like I said, this is a chicken fried rice recipe, and I just put beef in it. It could use some more soy sauce because I added a lot extra rice, but perfect for a very small budget. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to make chicken a la king, And I decided that I was going, instead of chicken breast, I'm going to use some ground chicken that I had. And so I just cooked a little bit of ground chicken loose and a little bit of oil. And I took it out, drained it and everything. And now I'm going to start with the recipe, resume what I was supposed to do with the recipe. So you'll either use what I'm using, or you can use 3 cups of diced cooked chicken. Okay, so you're gonna need a stick of butter, melted, 1 onion and 1 bell pepper, diced. I'm gonna use a yellow bell pepper because that's what I have on hand. I did not go and spend another, what, 80 cents or $1 on another bell pepper when I had one. Green bell pepper is what the recipe calls for, but in my opinion, it doesn't matter. So there's some things you can change, and then there's some things that you can't. So right now, what I'm doing is I am going to cook these until they've softened, which is going to take about 10 minutes, and then I'll come back and we'll do the rest of the recipe. All right, y'all. So this would be the time that you would put your 2 cloves of diced garlic in, or minced garlic, sorry, but I'm going to put some garlic powder instead. Okay. And I'm fixing to add 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour. Half a cup all-purpose. Stir that real quick, and then we're going to add our salt and pepper. And it's going to make it kind of pasty. Half a teaspoon each, but I'm going to be a little bit more generous with my pepper, of course. Okay. And I'm going to make some homemade biscuits for this to be poured over. So that's going to cost me literally nothing. Just a few pennies. Okay. Now, let me grab my chicken stock. It's above you. And I'm going to slowly pour this in. Get my whisk. Get this off there. Get a spatula real quick. We got a second before I have to grab that whisk. All right. Okay. Now, we're going to add it slowly because we're trying our best to prevent lumps from the flour. 2.5 cups of chicken stock. I may have to add a little bit more. Yeah. I got it on medium heat right now. Okay, now the recipe calls for 1 cup of heavy cream. I have some heavy cream, but I don't want to use that much in this recipe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do half heavy cream, half milk. I may have to add a little bit of water to my broth because it was really thick. I'm sorry, really concentrated. I'm not sure this was 2.5 cups. It may only have been 2 cups. But we'll see. Just have to kind of watch your thickening. You want it just perfect. Now, the thing with the yellow bell pepper is it's not as bright as what a green one would be, but you know. All right, let me cut this down just a little bit. I'm only running to get my stuff, and I'll be right back. Okay, half a cup of milk, half a cup of heavy cream. I'm gonna go ahead and add it because we're getting thicker here. I need some liquid. All right, there's our milk. Slowly combine this, and then as it heats up, which I'm going to turn up just a tad, it's going to thicken. Just be patient with it, and it will thicken up. Don't walk away because it'll burn. Just slowly let it thicken. Alright, so now we're going to add our meat. We're going to add a cup of peas. Now, normally I would do frozen, but I was like, you know what? I have tons of cans of peas, and I'm just going to drain some of those and put those in there because I need to try to get rid of them. And I also have a jar of diced pimentos, which my pimentos were not diced, they were sliced, but the recipe calls for diced. So I had to buy what I could find. And because of that, I drained them, took them out of the jar, drained them, and chopped those up real quick. So we're going to add those too. But you need to let this simmer just for a few minutes, not long. I'm going to run and go get my can of peas real quick, get those drained and add them. I'm probably not going to add the whole can. So hang on just 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, y'all. So I feel like this has simmered long enough. Thickened up perfectly. Probably could use just a teeny bit more thickening. But this is going to be perfect because we're going to serve this over homemade biscuits. You can, of course, use whatever biscuits you want. That doesn't matter. I'm adding back my ground meat. And typically, I would not make this like this. This is just what I did just to make do. You know what I mean? To show you that you can also use other things. You don't have to use strictly what they say. Some things it matters, but a lot of recipes you can change just a little bit. Just depends on texture for you. You know, what you prefer, what you don't. So, I added that chicken back. Here is a cup of peas that were canned. I drained those and added them. But typically I would do frozen like the recipe states, but you know what? Sometimes you just have to go with what you have. And then we're gonna add the pimentos. It was a little small jar, it's 4 ounces. They need to be diced. So if you can only find sliced, you need to chop them. Just take them out of the jar, drain them, and chop them, and that's it. And so that gives us a good range of color in this. It's not all dull and plain. So, I'm going to let this simmer for just a few minutes, and that's it. Perfect little recipe. Especially if you're trying to keep up with a budget with these grocery prices. And you can always add that whole can of peas if you want to. I think the only thing that's left is probably about a third of a can. So it's just up to you. But I'm going to let this sit here and simmer just a few more minutes. And then I'm going to get my biscuits made. And then I'll show you the end product. Okay, y'all. So this is the finished product. Finally got my biscuits done. Just split one. And then added my little cream sauce with my veggies on top. Perfect. I did go ahead and add the little extra bit of peas that I had to this, but typically I wouldn't have done that if it was frozen, because when you keep frozen peas on hand, you can take those out as you see fit. You don't have to, you know what I mean? You don't have to cook the whole thing. So I didn't know what I was going to do with a third of a cup of leftover peas. So I just went ahead, threw them in there. No big deal. But even though I used ground chicken for this, it still turned out perfect. And I think the family will be pleased. Okay, make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.